My name's Charles Mathews. I'm from MarkLives, and today I'm speaking to Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman about Gifts of the Givers. It is an organization that started almost 30 years ago and today has global recognition for the civic and charitable work it does in some of the world's hotspots. Dr. Sooliman, you started Gifts of the Givers almost 30 years ago. How did this all start? Where did it start?
Good morning, Charlie. It wasn't a conventional start. I was in Turkey. Okay. I met a religious Sufi master the year before in 1991. And when at that first meeting, there was something that attached me to him. And I felt a love for a man I've never seen, never heard, don't know anything about. The Muslim Sufi place, we do what is called a zikr. A zikr is a celebration of God's names. You know, we chant his names in different adjectives. We say one and only, kind, compassionate, the merciful, all those kind of things. So when it was finished, at 10 p.m., the master is sitting in the corner of the room. I'm sitting in the other corner. He looks at me, directly makes eye contact, and looks everywhere at the same time. And then in fluent Turkish, and I don't speak a word of Turkish, but I understood every single word that he said. And he said, my son, I'm not asking you, I'm instructing you to form an organization. The name in Arabic will be Waqful Waqifin. Translated, it means gift of the givers. You will serve all people of all races, all religions, all colors, all classes, all cultures, of any geographical location and of any political affiliation. But you will serve them unconditionally. You will expect nothing in return, not even a thank you. In fact, in what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, expect to get a kick up your back. If you don't get a kick up your back, regard it as a bonus. Serve people with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy. And remember, the dignity of man is foremost. And in everything that you do, be the best at what you do. Not because of ego, but because you're dealing with human life, human emotion, and human dignity. And then he went on to say, my son, remember this very important point, that whatever you do is done through you and not by you. Don't ever forget that. I asked him, you told me all these things. What does it mean? I'm a doctor in a place called Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. I have 3 practices. I'm a very busy doctor. What am I supposed to do? He told me one line, you will know. 29 years, I do know what to do, how to do, when to do, what not to do. It just flows. There's no planning, no meetings, no discussions. Everything comes by inspiration. To the point that I got answered immediately. What am I to do? The moment I walked out of that, the inspiration came, respond to the civil war in Bosnia. We must respond to the civil war in Bosnia. Haven't started the organization yet. People do a feeding scheme or winter blanket distribution or something simple. Not going to a war zone in another country. I have all the rules, but it was meant for me to do that. Because 90% of what I know today, I learned in that first project.
It speaks to me that at the basis of your construct is equality. That you treat all human beings, the same, that you don't put one person over another person. And research tells us that equal outcomes make people happier, and kind of having this kind of sense of equality right built into the heart of what you're doing. How has this informed your organization?
The Gulf War in January had polarized the world. Christians and Jews on one side and Muslims on the other side. And that time, a guy called Samuel Huntington spoke about a clash of civilizations. And, and coming from an apartheid past didn't help, especially when you had to move from your own houses and you were pushed into an area that you didn't want to go to. So you had this inborn prejudice against what is white, against what is Christian, what's Afrikaner. And of course, against other countries that have been fighting in Muslim lands. So you go with this perception that people are not good people. And you go to this place, and the first shock that I get in 91, my wife was with me. We see people from all over, all those who together fought against, Saddam in the Gulf War. Not that we're on the side of Saddam, but we saw what the people went through. And I'm thinking to myself, what are all these people doing here in a Muslim holy place? And the teacher saw the look on my face, and he said, what do you see? I said, I'm confused. In a Muslim holy place, how is this happening? He said, my son, look again. I said, I see people from all religions, those who believe and those who don't believe, all in this Muslim holy place. He said, you see right. He said, don't you know the Islamic teaching? Mankind is one single nation. The God of all men is one. We just call him by different names. And said, any person, any imam, rabbi, priest, pandit, if he preaches violence, no matter what external paraphernalia he may have, he's not a man of God. Don't follow him. And any person who preaches love, kindness, and compassion, doesn't matter what he's wearing, he's a man of God. Follow him. And when you apply it practically, and when you don't look at color and race and just look at as a human, the satisfaction that you get. You talk about marketing. Now people come to us and say, we only want to give to you because you help everybody unconditionally. We don't want you to go to my group or our group or some other group. Everybody's in difficulty, and we want our funds and our aid to go to everybody the way you do it. So it has to work from a marketing perspective, from a human perspective, from a donor perspective, a support perspective, and a growth perspective.
How has it changed you, and what have you learned in these past years? And what of the people who work with you? How has it impacted their lives working for this organization, this brand, with equality at its heart?
The best part about us is we're the microcosm of the bigger world. There's different aspects to it. The one is the permanent staff that run the whole thing in South Africa. Okay. And there's permanent staff in other countries. And then there's the volunteers, specifically search and rescue, paramedic, and medical. Medical meaning not doctors only. Could be a dietitian, a pharmacist, a theater nurse, an ICU nurse, very just beyond a GP or a trauma surgeon or orthopedic surgeon, that kind of stuff. And those teams, when they go, they're completely diverse. And I tell them, if you're wearing a certain type of band on your hand or a cross on your neck, or use the Bible or a religious book, please bring them. And you must do your prayer because it's good for the mission. And they feel very, very welcome. And you find the camaraderie, instead of religion, dividing people, what's happened in most of the cases in the world today, the religion is bringing the people together. And again, about marketing. There's a guy who's a Cuban doctor. He's one of my main key guys in the team's orthopedic surgeon. His name is Dr. Levan Torino, based in Pietermaritzburg. Whenever an announcement comes on a mission, within 30 seconds, his message there, I'm ready, my bags are packed. So we went to Gaza. And we did the Muslim part. I said, look, we have to do the Christian part too. So we go to the church, and a new padre comes in from Argentina. I said, Levan, your man, South America, you from Cuba. I said, where's the cross? He says, in the bag. I said, take it out, put it on, put the cross on. This is marketing. So you go to the church, he tells speaks in Spanish, tells the padre is just a mixed team, takes his cross on, the padre grabs it and hugs him. I said, you see, all barriers are broken. We have to use whatever we can for marketing and to build relations. And in a non-functioning aspect, when we're not on the mission, or we're not on the ground, or we're relaxing, that camaraderie is still building. And the public can see it. It's not like it's made up. People are very observant. The common message that we get every single day, that your teams treat people with such respect, with such dignity.
When I was with your team in Pretoria, I was so humbled by the love that they showed everyone who was dispossessed during the xenophobic riots. For me, as a journalist looking from the outside in, all I saw that people who were propelled by extreme purpose and the will to help those in extreme need.
We had to change our own mindset first. And when my teams go out, they ask me, what must we do? I tell them one line. I said, if your wife and your child was on the other side, what would you do to help them? They said, we understood. No more questions. Now, the same way, whether it's a foreign national, because what crime has a 4-month-old baby committed? And people said, why have foreign nationals with COVID-19? So I raised the question. I said, 10,000 South Africans were stranded outside South Africa when the border shut. If not more, probably even up to 15 or 16,000 when the border shut. I said, they had no money, no food. I said, help them? South Africans? No, not South Africans. Foreign nationals help them in the countries in which they were stranded. Shouldn't we be returning the favor in this country? Many foreign nationals called me and said, you know what? We know we got no ID document. We know we are not liked. We know we can't access the grant. We know all our shops are closed, informal settlements, all informal shops, trading shops, all closed, there's no income. My children didn't do anything wrong. Please come to this address. Give the food in the hand to my child. My wife and I won't eat. We are not moved by the political sentiments, or what people have to say. We are moved by human sentiments, because you could very well be in the same position somewhere else.
Do you do any marketing, or is that all propelled through word of mouth and kind of what people see you doing? Because you covered quite a lot by the media.
There's multifaceted, some of it.
Okay.
The first one is spiritual. Again, I always tell the people I have an advantage. My basis is spiritual.
Yes.
And the teacher told me very clearly, you will never look for money.
Yes.
People will come to you and they will look for you. They will come from all over the world. But from a local point of view, we don't have paid advertising. We don't say, please give us money. We announce our projects, and yes, the biggest benefit of us is the media, because we are extensively covered. There isn't a day, without exaggeration, 365 days in a year, where we are not mentioned somewhere. To the point with COVID-19, I stopped making press releases, because the media would flood you, and you can't actually do your work. We do press releases, generally, that's our marketing. And that's for several purposes. One is to highlight the difficulty of people and difficulty, with the aim that somebody will support those people if they see what's going on. And secondly, and more importantly, that when people give us money, they need to know where we spent it. But if it's covered extensively in all the media and people see what's going on, the word spreads. And now with social media, it's a much more bigger, it's amplified, and more people just keep passing the messages on to what they saw, what the needs are, or what happened. And of course, when they have the miners, during Marikana, when we got involved, we got feedback from the whole country where the miners are based. So, the word just spreads itself like that. The South Africans are our voice, our marketing tool. All 60 million South Africans. We don't have to do anything.
I see people who experience you and experience the work that you do almost become like fans of yours, because it comes from a place of equality, and because what you do has such a wide net and such a wide effect.
The guys who do our marketing material, the brand and the logo, he got up one morning, he says, you know what, we need to change the focus so much so that people say, this is South Africa's gift of the givers. We need to the country needs to take ownership of the organization, and then they design the shirts. I just got a little back so you can see it. It's a branded shirt.
It's like a sporting, like you would wear your...
Like the Springboks kind of thing.
Yes.
So all our teams, when they wear this, and when they go to a disaster mission and they save lives, people take ownership not only of our team. And when I go out, I said, we're not doing this for gift of the givers. My teams are told clearly, this is for South Africa and for Africa. Because we are told that we are the begging province, that we are useless, that we only have corruption, that we have illnesses, that we have poverty, and in essence, there's nothing we can do. So when we wear the shirt, we're representing 1 billion people, the African continent, when we go out. And I said, that's the teacher said, be the best at what you do. And then we show the world what we can do. And we did it. In '93, we designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital, a world first, designed in South Africa, and taken from South Africa to Europe to the Bosnian War. And the CNN commentator said, the South African containerized mobile hospital is equal to any of the best hospitals in Europe. And that was in '93. When we went to Pakistan, teams from the northern countries came and said, where are you guys from? We said, we're from South Africa. Oh, Africa people. What did you come to fetch? You guys always wanting things. I told him, my friend, you will eat your words. We went to the cantonment hospital of Rawalpindi. They were shutting the hospital down. And we said, this is crazy. Can you give us this hospital? I'll give you a shopping list. Can you give me this? In 24 hours. In less than 24 hours, they brought it. A hospital that was closing down, the South African team converted it into a 400-bed emergency hospital We did 75 operations a day, and we saved hundreds of lives. For that intervention, the president of Pakistan, Pervez Musharraf, gave us the President's Award in 2006.
That's amazing. Hey? That's like really, really incredible. Well, we're in a world where there's extreme polarity and where we need to kind of innovate solutions to our problems. But we can only really do that if we collaborate and we work together. Yeah. What advice would you have for your fellow South Africans and then also for people in business to better achieve this?
Business has to understand compassion. That's the first thing. COVID-19 did that. COVID-19 came and changed the perception of a lot of people, fortunately, because what difference did it make to the people in the town rural areas? They're still hungry. They're still thirsty. They still don't have clothes. They still don't have a proper feeding scheme. They're still battling. The hospitals are still far away. They still wait for hours to be treated by something. So what's different? Nothing new. Whether COVID, HIV, or TB, same thing. No difference to them. But the middle class and the higher class suddenly knew what it was not to have an income, not to have the luxury, not to have a job, or to take a cut in salary. And you suddenly realize the difficulties of those that live this every other day besides COVID-19. The CEO and the CSI manager have to see eye to eye. They have to be in sync, because sometimes what the CSI guy wants to do, the CEO guy wants to think, oh, well, how much is going to benefit the business? How much more money are you going to make? What is the intervention? Bring the company more money? No, you can't look at it like that. The CSI guy knows what the desperate need is at that point. And that desperate need may bring you zero benefit to your company. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but humanity comes first. That kind of mindset has to change. International companies came to me, and I'm talking about a massive international company with global footprint, came to us and said, we'll do this, that, that, other. You know what we told them? Go back to America. Go and come tell us here what to do. That's the system's not going to work here. In this country, this system's going to work. What we tell you is going to work. To their credit, they said, you're the decision maker. Do what is necessary. It's not business anymore. It's about humanity and human life.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sooliman, for your time, for the work that you do, and huge respect to you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for considering us.